Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! It's time!
Everyone to the BX Sports JEDI Network. I am Austin, and one half of MMA Weekly. Austin stepped in, and I'm just doing a quick video because I kind of wanted to do an instant reaction to UFC 286 taking place in London, England. Just ended like an hour ago, and this was in the afternoon for here in the United States. Obviously, he was geared towards the British time as it was a UK pay-per-view. It made sense as the people over in England got to see a championship fight and the first pay-per-view in England since I want to say 2016 when Bisping fought Dan Anderson in October of 2016. I forget what UFC that was. UFC, it was like I want to say it was 180 something, like 180, no, 190 something. I forget. I remember it was like late 2016. I do remember that. It was Bisping, Dan Anderson. So it's been a while since UFC's been in London, England for a pay per view. Now they did last year they did 2 shows in London, both successful, and they came back here, especially with Leon Edwards having being the champion, defending his belt against Kamaru Usman in the Trilogy fight. And like I said, this is gonna be. I'm not gonna break down what happened too much. Like I said, I'll do that during the week with Chef Dan. We'll break it down what happened in more detail. I'm just going my initial reactions to this fight, and let me just give me one moment. Let me just get this ready. No, actually, never mind. We don't need graph. Anyway, never mind. Forget that. Scratch that. Let's go to anyway. Kamaru Usman wins. Yeah, that's not true. Leon Edwards wins the only decision. One judge gave it a draw, and 2 judges gave 48-46. 48-46. Now, if you remember, in the third round, Leon Edwards got a point taken away because of the fact that he grabbed the fence. Blaine too. And Leon Edwards there's some fouls that Leon Edwards did. A lot of them were intentional. That one was blatant, the fence grab. And I think because in the first round he hit Usman in the groin. The second round there was like an eye poke. And then he got that fence grab. I think Herb Dean had to take a point away. But even then, even let's say none of those 2 things did happen, I think Herb Dean still might have taken a point just because how blatant the fence grab was. How it kind of affected the fight. By the way, Leon Edwards, to me, got the decision. To me, he deserved to win because I feel like Leon Edwards did more in this fight. He landed better strikes, especially leg kicks and body kicks. He landed a bunch on Kamaru Usman and really slowed down the fight. And also when might be slowing the fight felt a lot more slower than the second fight, in my opinion, if that makes sense. And also, Usman got a couple of takedowns, but really didn't do anything with them. He did no damage, didn't go for submission. Edwards kept getting up. Like, not that long after getting taken down, he just got up like nothing. It really didn't affect him that much. Those takedowns those takedowns that Kamaru Usman landed. Usman landed some good shots of his own, but I feel like Edwards just kept Edwards seemed like the faster fighter, even though I mentioned the fight being slowed down. It just kept hitting him and hurting him with these shots. It just kept tagging Usman, laying more than Usman did, and to me, the right guy won, despite the point deduction. And I was kind of afraid that it was going to be a draw, but thankfully there wasn't. Even though I think Edwards should have won and got the right guy won this fight. So, yeah, good job by Leon Edwards, stuffing, basically not allowing Usman to do damage with takedowns, getting up, chopping at the legs and chopping Usman's legs and body shots, and also laying the left head kick several times. Obviously not as bad as the one he landed in their last fight, but still he landed a couple times. The left head kick on Usman, and did a good job did a very good job with striking and his ability to get up from takedowns. That's the one that I took away from his fights with Leon Edwards. And Kamaru Usman, he took a knee in the second round that really rocked him. That was bad, and Usman was able to eat it and showed that I guess his chin's still there. He didn't lose his chin at all. Because there at least 2 or 3 shots that Edwards landed that really could have done some damage to Usman, but Usman survived, was able to finish the fight. So great performance by Leon Edwards, defending his home country of England, as the crowd was pro Leon. I mean, when he came out, they were treating him like a rock star. They kept chanting Rocky. They did the chant of headshot. What was it? Headshot dead. I forget what goes before it. You know what I'm talking about. That Leon Edwards said after he beat Usman in the second fight. Kept chanting that during the fights. The British crowds have always been great, and they were great here. So you gotta give them a shout out. The crowd in England, give them some love because they deserve it. And UFC will definitely be back in England. Maybe not for another pay-per-view, but at least for another fight night. And it was a great performance for Leon Edwards. Give him credit. And what's next for Leon Edwards? He's got options. Freaking Islam Makhachev wants to fight him in October, which I don't see that happening, but you never know. Excuse me. He wants to fight him. Jorge Masvidal definitely wants to fight him. Obviously, if Jorge beats Gilbert Burns, there's a chance because Leon will love to get revenge on Jorge for the whole incident back in 2019, the backstage of that show in London back in 2019, where a 3-piece Minnesota was born. You also got Kobe Covington, who was in the crowd who out of nowhere he was a backup fighter and came in that week and just made weight like that. And he was in the crowd. Kobe Covington, who's been really been quiet for almost the last year, ever since the whole incident with Jorge Masvidal in the restaurants. After when Jorge sneak attacked him, came out of nowhere and just made weight, showed up out of nowhere, and was did some interviews with the media. And now there's interest for him and Leon Edwards potentially. Also, Belal Muhammad's in the mix. Belal Muhammad's won a lot of fights. He's on I want to say 8-fight unbeaten streak or 9-fight unbeaten streak, something like that. I forget the exact number. He's a guy you can't rule out. So Leon Edwards got options now. He's got a lot of options for opponents next. Interested to see what they do with Leon when he fights again and who he fights. I am interested in see, but yeah, good fights, and I did want to talk about I originally was going to start from the first fight and then go to the main event, but I started the main event first. So I do want to talk about Marvin Vettori and Roman Dolidze. As Marvin Vettori wins this fight via a unanimous decision, Marvin, it seemed like Roman slowed down as the fight kept going, and especially because in the first round, Roman Dolidze was really throwing a lot of big strikes and really was really having a semi-big high pace. But then as the fight kept going, he slowed down, making it easier for Marvin Vettori to just pick him apart, and Marvin Vettori was able to win. Because Roman Dolidze could not take the fight to the ground, and in the stand-up, he just got beat up by Marvin Vettori. Turned out to be the better striker of the two. He had some leg kicks. I know they mentioned he went to a new gym. I think he trained in Tiger Muay Thai for a while. He had Dewey Cooper in his corner and had some leg kicks. And Marvin Vettori had a bounce-back performance after getting beat up, basically dominated by Robert Whittaker back in September in Paris. He's able to bounce back, get a victory, stay in the top 5, and it's interesting to see what's next for Vettori. Who he fight next? Does he fight maybe a Cannonier? Because I don't know they fought yet, Cannonier and Vettori, that I can recall. Unless I'm forgetting it. Maybe give him in Sean Strickland. I don't know what's next for Vettori. interesting to see what's next for him. Obviously, if Pereira can still be champion, it's a good thing for him because that means he can get another crack at the title. Because Israel's champion, he's really going to put in a lot more work to get another crack at Israel's champion versus Pereira, who he's never fought before. But good performance by Vettori, got a bounce back victory, and like I said, Vettori hopefully can add more leg kicks and add some new elements to this game because Vettori's kind of like the same basic fighter if you watch some of his fights, and in order for him to really take that next step, he's gonna have to add some new elements to his game, and I think adding more kicking and leg kicks would definitely help. Especially keeps training Tiger Muay Thai, training with guys like Dewey Cooper, that should definitely help him. But good performance from Marvin Vettori. And then up the card was Jennifer Maia and Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill's first fight in over a year since she, I think she tore, I think it was ACL. I believe it was her ACL she tore. And Jennifer Maia just looked like the better striker. She was the better striker, not look like it. She was. She just kept picking apart Casey O'Neill. Casey O'Neill's nose kept getting busted. I mean, her nose kept getting beat up in that fight, and Casey couldn't really strike with her personally. And also, Casey O'Neill got no takedowns from I recall in that fight. Unless I'm mistaken, I don't recall Casey ever getting a takedown in that fight. And Maia just picked her apart. Maia definitely was the woman who was more fresher. Obviously, Jennifer Maia fought at least twice since Casey O'Neill's last fight, and she will use that to beat Casey O'Neill and take her unbeaten streak as she suffers her first loss. And Casey did somewhat better in that third round. Still, Maia was just definitely in the first two rounds definitely looked like the much better fighter, the more fresher, more I don't want to say prepared. That's the wrong word. She could tell that she wouldn't come off a layoff compared to Casey O'Neill, and Maia was able to pick her apart and had good striking as well. So Jennifer Maia gets another victory. She's won 2 in a row, especially now in this flyweight division with Valentina not being champion. There's hope for Jennifer Maia to possibly maybe get another crack at the title. It depends what happens with Shenko and Grasso in their rematch, obviously, because they're going to have that rematch soon. We need to see. And actually, now I think about it, she only fought Valentina once. So, yeah, even Valentina wins. And Maia goes out there, has a good performance against a top 5 girl, and maybe wins like 2 more fights. She can get another crack at Valentina. But we'll see what's next for Jennifer Maia. Good victory for her. Then you got Brian Barberena and Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson, just great grappler. Seemed like Brian Barberena had grappling deficiencies, and it showed here as Gunnar Nelson was able to get the armbar for like the final minute of the first round, and good victory for Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson, I think most of his victories are by finishes, and he gets another finish here. And I know his last fight didn't get a finish against Takashi Saito back in last March, but if I remember, I think that's Gunnar Nelson coming back after years of layoff. I remember he was at a point where he didn't fight for a while, and now he's back. And now he's back after another year layoff due to a broken nose, and he's got a good victory. Very aggressive victory for Gunnar Nelson. He's someone who's in like that, just not in the rankings, but not too far off. Maybe like the top 20, top 25 of a welterweight division ranking. That makes sense. I'm interested to see who they give him next for Gunnar Nelson. I think it's a good victory for against Brian Barberena. And who knows? I'm interested. I'm trying to think who. I don't know. I was trying to see who maybe can match him up with, but I have no idea at the moment. But good victory for Gunnar Nelson. Nice submission victory. And then the co-main event between Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev. What a fight! Entertaining as fuck. I mean, I just gotta be honest with you. Back and forth. I mean, it was close. I mean, I honestly, the first 2 rounds were very close and very tough to call. I didn't know who's winning after 2 rounds. I thought I had it 1-1, but I wasn't like confident personally. But I thought it was 1-1. And the thing with Gaethje is Gaethje was really doing well with hurting Fiziev in his face. I mean, Fiziev had a cut under his left eye and had like another cut over his right eye. Just beat him up badly, especially in that third round. Really beat up Fiziev. And then it was doing better in the second round too, compared to the first round, in my opinion. With some of the shots he was landing. But Fiziev was game, and Fiziev really was hurting Gaethje, especially to his body. I mean, he landed so many body shots to Gaethje. Even though Gaethje had a good third round, Gaethje was breathing through his mouth. We could tell he was exhausted. Like those body shots were really adding up to him, and you gotta give Gaethje credit for surviving those body shots and even some of the leg kicks he took from Fiziev. I know he gave Fiziev some good leg kicks himself early in that fight, but still, Fiziev was really attacking him in the body and in some of the leg kicks, but he was able to pull through and able to win this fight in a very close fight. And I gotta rewatch this fight because I really don't know who won. At the moment, I was like, I guess Gaethje, but this is a fight I need to rewatch and see who I think won the fight because it's kind of tough because it was very close. It was hard to score personally watching it live. But if I go back and watch it, maybe I can have a better. Maybe then I can be like, you know what, the judges got it right, or now the judges got it wrong. I have no idea. But in terms of if they did get it right or wrong, personally, I think it was an entertaining fight. Gaethje delivered like he always does in these fights. Fiziev had a great performance. Fiziev was right there in the top of these guys. You know, he didn't get the decision. But still, Fiziev is someone you got to watch out for in his lightweight division. And I got to give Gaethje a lot of credit because Gaethje took someone that wasn't, you know, a Chandler, a Conor, a Poirier, or Oliveira. You know, it seemed like those guys all been fighting each other the last several years. And a lot of these other younger upcoming guys in this lightweight division, the Sarukians, the Gamrots, even the Grant Dawsons, and you know, guys like that. It seemed like those guys had a hard time finding these bigger name guys in the lightweight division and potentially moving up the rankings. And give Gaethje fought someone who was ranked number 6 that wasn't, you know, a big name like Chandler, McGregor, Poirier, or even Oliveira. And he won. He proved that he's still one of the top lightweights in the world. Give him credit. I mean, interesting what you do next with Gaethje. Who you give him? Maybe the loser of Dariush and Oliveira potentially. Maybe I'm trying to think who else you give him. Maybe Gamrot. Him and Gamrot can fight. I wouldn't mind seeing those two guys fight. That would be an interesting fight to watch. I mean, Gaethje's, like you say, he's making one more run to title, and I think being those guys could definitely, especially if he, let's say, finishes a Gamrot or finishes someone like that, or even has a better performance against the loser of Dariush and Oliveira than the winner of that fight, he might get a title fight after 2 victories in a row potentially. It's possible. I'm just throwing it out there. I mean, I don't know what Gaethje has to do exactly to get in there, crack a title. Oh, you know what? Him and Poirier, the last fight was what, 5 years ago? Run it back. It's been 5 years since those two fought. Those guys are coming off victories. Why not? Title eliminator. You know, both guys, they really want to get in there, crack a title. They should go out there and beat each other up. You know, I mean, you know, fight each other and beat. You know, have to beat each other. 2 guys in the top 5. That makes sense. I like that idea. Now I think about Gaethje Poirier rematch. I'm down for it. Why not? The first fight was pretty damn great. The second fight, I believe, will be just as good. And they're both still top 5 guys all these years later. So give credit both of them. But yeah, this was a very, very solid card. Very solid card for the most part. It was very good. And also doing shout Muhammad Makayev in the prelims. Just saying, he got a third round, I believe, third round submission victory after getting almost knee barred in his fights. He came back and was able to get a submission like not that long after. That's very impressive by Muhammad Makayev. Gotta give him some shout out in the prelims. Jack Shore got a bounce back victory after losing his last fight. The guy who was definitely a top prospect in the bantamweight division lost to Ricky Simone and is probably still a guy to watch out for in UFC. Now he's fighting at 145 now, considering I think the weight cuts were too much for him. We'll see how he does in 145. Maybe he can make some noise there. We'll find out. So yeah, I want to give Jack Shore and Muhammad Makayev some credit in the prelims for their performances as well. Overall, good card. Solid card. I liked it. I enjoyed it for the most part. Let me know what you guys thought of this card. We give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle. And yeah, can't wait. Yeah, can't wait for see what's next for Leon and Justin Gaethje and even for Tori. And you know, I do want to see what's next for you know, Jennifer Maia even and Jack Shore in the 145 division. I'm excited. I can't wait, and I can't wait for next week too. Next week, Shio Vera and Corey Sandhagen. Whoo! What a main event! Damn, that's a sexy ass main event. in terms of fight nights, in terms of that's a great card. I can't wait to talk about that later on this week. Break it down with you guys because I am pumped for that card. And also the pay-per-view in 3 weeks. Now I was gonna say 2 weeks, but 3 weeks from now, UFC 287 in Miami, Florida. Israel Adesanya and freaking Alex Pereira, the rematch. What a fantastic pay-per-view card that is. Obviously, when we get close with the week of, we'll talk about that card. But you know, you got Israel Adesanya in Alex Pereira rematch. You got Gilbert Burns fighting Jorge Masvidal in his hometown. You even got Raul Rojas Jr. in the pay-per-view card, the 18-year-old. You got Adrian Yanez against the returning Ralph Font. I mean, good card. Colin and Santiago Ponzinibbio. That's in 3 weeks. I mean, damn. I can't wait for that card. Whew, what? And day before Easter, too. I mean, what a fantastic card that is 3 weeks from now. And also, next week's main event's pretty damn good. So, UFC doing big, so having some nice main events within these upcoming weeks. You know, March has been a very good month in terms of their cards and their main events. And April seemed like the same way too. Sergey Pavlovich and Curtis Blades are fighting April 22nd. It's the main event of that card, and also not Calvin Kattar, Arnold Allen and freaking Max Holloway April 15th as well. The main event of that show in Kansas City. So I mean, I'm excited for these upcoming UFC events in March and April. I mean, 30th anniversary, the UFC had to go big, rightfully so. And I'm glad they're doing it. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this video and supporting us through our podcasting platforms, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all the podcasting platforms. Appreciate the love, supports, and we appreciate the love, support you guys give us. Wherever you do likes, sharing your videos, commenting, donations, we appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Without you guys, this channel is nothing. Me, my dad, Dan, everyone appreciates the love, support you guys give us, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, good night, your time watching this. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time. And peace.